Welcome to Tech in the Car. I'm Oliver and this is the Porsche Macan T. This is the newest model in the Macan range, which is Porsche's small SUV range. And this car is a definite looker in this Miami blue famous Porsche color. And this car is special and unique because the T means touring, and touring is about evoking those memories of cars from the past that Porsche made, and it's about sportiness, which means this car is very unique in that it has a lowered suspension, 15 millimeters lower than any other Macan. It also has an all-steel suspension system, and it's got the Porsche active suspension management system as well. So this car drives like a sports car, which is what the touring in the name is meant to invoke. And you can see very cool Porsche stylings. This car starts at £55,800, which means it is a lot more than a typically sized and powered SUV alternative, but this is a Porsche and it drives like a Porsche. It's got that Porsche badge and it's got some really cool design features as well, which I really like. It's got a more aggressive front bumper here at the sides. It's got the Macan S wheels as well, which are beautiful looking. And then down the side here, we've got our side panels here, which are also in agate gray, which is unique to this model as well. The wind mirrors also have a cool design as well. They've got holes in them, which look great. This car has a few options on it. It's got a panoramic sunroof, which is one of the options as well. And it's got a leather interior. But this car is definitely eye-catching, and it's exactly what you want when you buy a Porsche. So what makes a Macan T a Macan T? Well, it's the engine is one of the key components. So this has got the 2-litre 4-cylinder turbocharged engine, and it puts out 265 horsepower and 400 Newton meters of torque. And because it is a 2-litre engine, it means that it has better fuel efficiency. You get between 23 and 28 miles per gallon on average. So it's pretty efficient for what it is. And because it has a 4-cylinder engine, it means that there's less weight over the front. In fact, it's got 58.8 kilograms less weight over the front of the car, over the front axle, compared to the other models of the Macan, which include the V6 engine. So it saves weight at the front. It's got stiffer suspension, it's got a lowered suspension, it's got active suspension management, which means that along with those really fantastic looking 20-inch titanium grey wheels means that it handles fantastically well. But it's still an SUV, and it still has convenience, and it still has practicality, and it still has space in the back seats for a family, and there's loads of space in the boot for your shopping, your luggage. So it takes everything you could want from an SUV and it amps it up a level. It is a Porsche, and that's what they do. At the back of this car, we have this amazing light bar, and I love light bars at the back of cars. I think they like invoke, again, loads of amazing feelings, at least in me, maybe not in everyone. And this car has that traditional Porsche light bar, which looks fantastic. The Porsche logo on the back here sticking out, the Macan T logo. This has some other differences from the other Macans in the range as well. It's got this really aggressive diffuser. We've got these 4 exhaust pipes, which belie a more powerful and louder engine than the 4-cylinder. And then of course, we've got a ton of space in the back of this car. Space in the back of this is very generous. There's no problems there. If we open it up, we've got a automatic tailgate, and we've got tons of room. We've got these nice little protectors on the back here to protect the bodywork, and then we've got a lot of space. You can put the back seats down. There are tethers and there are hooks, and there are even little nets, and there's a 12-volt charger in the back here, so you can put in something you need to charge. So plenty of space. We've even got these grab handles so you can grab it, but you don't need to because obviously it's got a button. So there's tons of space in the back here. I just love the look of this car. It just has a really nice look. And one interesting thing, where is the reverse camera, the rear camera? The rear camera is up here. What an interesting place to put a rear camera. Sitting inside the interior of the Macan T, you can feel that Porsche quality. We've got this beautiful steering wheel, which is just the right size. Feels really high quality. This car comes with a chrono package, so we've got the clock up here. We've also got the drive select mode, which you'll see me use when we're driving. In the center here, we've got our touch sensitive capacitive buttons. We've got adaptive cruise control and lane assist. We have that on here, and the buttons are down here. We've also got an off-road mode, and we've got the ability to change the suspension stiffness as well. We've got our nice simple buttons to use for the air conditioning, and then we've got our Porsche infotainment system, which has Apple CarPlay, and also you can get Android Auto, and it's a really simple and easy to use system, and it's very quick and very responsive, which I like as well. Interior wise, we've got all this beautiful leather. It just feels fantastic. This car has an optional leather interior pack here. So these seats are leather and they're 18-way adjustable. So these are the upgraded seats, but they feel great. They definitely make you feel at home in this car. And this car is just super, super, super high quality to be in. I mean, even up here, the buttons for the sunroof, they just have this quality. They look a bit, you know what? They look a bit like, it's a bit like a Transformer logo. This does from down here, with some eyes at the top. Interesting. So fantastic interior. Love the classy clock in the middle. One thing that's interesting here in front of me is we've got 2 analog dials on one little screen at the side here. This is different from other Porsches, which now have, depending on the model year, more digital screens, but it's a very nicely designed, clear and easy to see system. So a lovely interior. What about the rear of the Macan T? So in the rear here, we've got quite a lot of space. This seat actually moves backwards and forwards when you get in and out, so it helps it be more comfortable for you to get in, which is great. You see, I've got quite a bit of space here. I've got space above my head. I'm 178. This panoramic glass sunroof brings in so much light. It's really comfortable back here. We've got 2 USB Type-C down there for charging. We've got our climate control, and these being leather seats, they feel very, very comfortable. Would this car be great for 3 big adults in the back? No, but for most families, for 2 people in the back, it would be fine. And there's obviously a ton of space in the boot as well. So really, really nice interior. My only criticism, tiny bit dark. Maybe I would try and spec it with lighter interior, but that's where the sunroof brings in all that extra light. The Macan T is being designed to be a unique car in the Porsche range. It's a car that has features that you don't get on any of the other models in the Macan range, but also accentuates sportiness. In fact, the T means touring, which when you think about other cars from Porsche that have touring in the name, creates emotions of super exciting cars. And the Macan T is trying to create those emotions inside us as well. And as an SUV, this car is really, I would argue, the sweet spot. It has lots of design traits from the higher up trims in the Macan range, but it has the engine, the 265 horsepower, 400 Newton meter engine from the 4-cylinder part of the Porsche family. And that means that even though it's not the fastest Porsche, it's got a ton of torque, it's got a ton of performance, and it's much, much, much more efficient. We've got mid to late 20s in the efficiency for the fuel of this car, so it's really, really good. In terms of driving, this car has some cool features. We got the chrono pack, which also has a drive mode, and if I use a drive mode button, I can put it into sport, and then immediately you can feel the way this car becomes more sporty, more direct. And then if we put it into Sport Plus, immediately it drops down a gear and it picks up space, like picks up speed like only a Porsche can. It picks up space as well because it moves fast, like only a Porsche can. And you can definitely feel that everything becomes more alert, everything becomes more attentive. And for an SUV, that's pretty incredible. It's fair to say that there are a lot of SUVs in the market, and I've driven a lot of them on this channel, and I would say in terms of a sporty feel, in terms of design, this car is the most fun to drive. For a car which is not a high performance car, but is a car which has that sporting pedigree, which is what this car is invoking or trying to invoke. And that's really what this wants and what it's trying to do. And I think it's fairly good at succeeding. As we drive down these country lanes here, you can definitely feel the sportiness of this car accentuated by its handling, and you feel very, very happy to be in one of these SUVs. I think if you're looking at an SUV which has got character, which has got good handling, I mean, really, this car should not be as precise and as firm as it is right now on this road. It should be a lot more like a traditional SUV, which is what you'd be expecting, but this is a Porsche, so it's a sports car and it's a sports SUV, and it feels like that and it drives like that too, and that makes it very, very exciting to drive. I mean, spinning around into this corner here, we've got really good cornering capabilities, but just the handling, the way this car drives for an SUV is unbelievably good. And don't forget, check out my video on the Cayenne Turbo GT, which is the most insane SUV that Porsche do. But for most people, this car around the 50,000 mark is a great buy. And I would seriously consider, if you've got the budget, and this is more than other cars with equivalent power and equivalent sizes and equivalent engines, but this is a Porsche. And the way you feel driving a Porsche and the way it handles driving a Porsche is another level. What's my conclusion on this car? It's really good handling, it's got good efficiency, it's not breaking the bank compared to other models in the range, it looks beautiful, it handles corners like they're not there. It really shouldn't handle that well. That's a Porsche trait, and in this car it definitely has it. It's by far the best handling SUV I have ever driven so far. We'll see what else Porsche have and wait for me back there, and I love it. Great car. Check one out if you're interested. Give this video a like and subscribe for more on Tech in the Car. Thank you very much.